Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
Before the Chupacabras, before the modern vampire myth, there was a darker, more ancient predator lurking in the shadows of Mesoamerica, a creature that did not drink blood, but sought something far more vital, the Teyollohcuani, a name that translates to heart. This is not a monster born from folklore misunderstandings or medieval fantasies. The Teyollohcuani was a real threat to the Aztec people, a sorcerer of flesh and bone who wielded black magic with terrifying precision. He walked among the living, attended marketplaces, and perhaps even sat beside you at a festival. You may think you know fear. But have you ever considered that the person next to you might be feeding on your very essence without spilling a single drop of your blood? The Teyollohcuani did not wait for the night to fall. He acted in broad daylight, using the shadows within his own soul. Unlike the elegant vampires of Eastern Europe, this entity had no nobility, no romantic curse. He was a man, or a woman, who chose evil. Through forbidden rituals and dark pacts, they gained the ability to extract a victim's heart without leaving a wound on the chest. A truly terrifying surgical horror. How does one become a Teyollohcuani? The Aztec codices suggest it was a secret passed through bloodlines or taught in the dead of night by aging sorcerers. The initiation often involved consuming human flesh or drinking the blood of a sacrificed warrior, a perversion of sacred Aztec rituals. But you have to understand, the Aztec world was already filled with sacrifice. The sun needed blood to rise. The gods demanded hearts. Yet even in that brutal reality, the Teyollohcuani was considered an aberration. He was not serving the gods. He was serving himself. The method of attack is what makes this legend so chillingly unique. The Teyollohcuani would use a spell called Tlacateclotl, the transformation into a beast or a bolt of lightning. Witnesses claimed to see a sudden flash, a sharp pain in the chest, and then nothing. The victim would simply collapse. Upon examination, the body would be pristine. No cuts, no blood, yet the heart would be gone, replaced by a piece of obsidian or a handful of corn. The heart-hitter had taken the spiritual energy, the tonali, directly from the living cage of ribs. This connects deeply to the theme of power we explored with the Senora de Cao. She was a ruler who commanded through ritual and war. The Teyollohcuani is the shadow version of that authority, a parasite feeding on the sacrifice of others for personal gain, not cosmic balance. Imagine walking through the great city of Tenochtitlan. The smell of copal incense fills the air. Priests chant in the distance. Suddenly, a man in humble clothes brushes past you. You feel a chill, a strange dizziness. For a second, your vision blurs. He smiles and walks away. You are fine, or are you? By the time you reach your home, you feel a void in your chest. Not pain, just emptiness. You try to eat, but food has no taste. You try to sleep, but nightmares of jaguars and flint knives await you. The Teyollohcuani has marked you. He hasn't taken your heart yet. He is savoring the anticipation. The Spanish conquistadors and the Franciscan monks who arrived in the 16th century were horrified by the Aztec sacrifices, but they were equally terrified of the Teyollohcuani. Friar Bernardino de Sahagún recorded testimonies of natives who swore they saw these witches fly through the air like fireballs. According to Sahagún's accounts, the Teyollohcuani were organized in secret guilds. They had masters and apprentices. They would gather in caves or remote pyramids to perform the Nehuyolen, the four movements of destruction. During these gatherings, they would trade hearts like currency. Does that sound familiar? It should. The concept of an elite class consuming the life force of the masses. The heart-eater is a metaphor that transcends time. It is the corporate raider, the corrupt politician, the energy vampire you encounter at work. But the Aztec version had fangs made of obsidian. To stop a Teyollohcuani, you couldn't use a wooden stake or garlic. Those are European solutions. The Aztecs had their own brutal counter-magic. A shaman, or Nawali, would have to confront the heart-eater in the spirit world while his body slept. If the shaman lost, his heart would be the next trophy. You might be wondering, if the Teyollohcuani was so powerful, why isn't he as famous as Dracula or the werewolf? The answer lies in the Spanish conquest. When the conquistadors destroyed the Aztec temples and codices, they erased thousands of years of oral tradition. The heart-eater survived only in whispers. But those whispers are loud enough. In modern Mexico, especially in the rural states of Puebla and Veracruz, old grandmothers still warn children about the Teyollo. They tell them to never accept food from a stranger who stares too long at their chest. They say to sleep with a small mirror facing the door. Why the mirror? Because the Teyollohcuani cannot stand the sight of his own reflection. Not because he has no reflection like a classic vampire, but because seeing his own face reminds him of the humanity he lost. It causes him physical pain, like looking directly at the sun. Let's analyze the ritual of the extraction. It was said that the sorcerer would point a bone needle, a malachite, toward the victim's heart while chanting in a reversed language. The heart would then shrink inside the body, detach from the arteries, and travel up through the throat. The victim would cough once, just once, and the heart would land in the sorcerer's hand, still beating, covered in a strange, cold mucus that was not blood. The Teyollohcuani would then consume it raw, feeling the victim's memories and strengths flow into his own veins. This act is called cannibalism of the soul. It is considered the highest form of black magic in Nahua cosmology, because while the body dies, the soul is trapped inside the eater's stomach, unable to travel to Mictlan, the underworld. The victim becomes a ghost, a prisoner of the heart-eater for eternity. Now, consider the connection to the Senora de Cao. She was a powerful female ruler whose tomb was filled with ceremonial knives. She had the power to sacrifice. The Teyollohcuani twists that power. He does not sacrifice for the sun or the rain. He kills for the sheer pleasure of consuming another's existence. There is a famous case from 1598, recorded by the Inquisition in Mexico City. An indigenous man named Martin Ocelotl was accused of being a Teyollohcuani. Witnesses claimed he turned into a turkey, a jaguar, and a bolt of lightning on the same night. When his cell was searched, they found 7 dried hummingbird hearts. The Inquisition burned him at the stake, but according to the local priest, during the fire, Martin did not scream. He laughed, and as the smoke rose, witnesses saw a dark shadow fly toward the mountains. The heart-eater had simply changed hosts. His knowledge was passed to a guard who watched the execution. This is the true horror of the Teyollohcuani. You cannot kill an idea. You cannot burn a technique. As long as there is greed, as long as there is the desire to take without giving, the heart-eater will exist. He evolves. Today he might wear a suit. Back then, he wore a cloak of human skin. How do you protect yourself? The Aztecs had a specific amulet, a small bag containing ground chili peppers and salt, worn over the heart. The Teyollohcuani spell would fail because the chili would burn his magic hand. Salt would cleanse the spiritual connection. It is a simple, visceral defense, but perhaps the best defense is awareness. The legend warns us that monsters are not always fanged creatures lurking in castles. Sometimes they are your neighbor who never seems to age, the merchant who always has good luck, the priest who smiles too calmly during a funeral. Look at the person to your left. Now look to your right. One of them might be hiding a dry, wrinkled heart inside their chest, a heart that once belonged to someone else. The Teyollohcuani lives as long as he feeds. Every 7 years, he must consume a new heart, or his body turns to dust. 7 years. That number appears in almost every version of the legend. It is the cycle of the Teyollohcuani. Right now, somewhere in the world, perhaps in a crowded subway or a quiet village, a sorcerer is counting the days. He is hungry, he is watching, and he is looking for a chest that is unprotected. So the next time you feel a sudden chill, a sharp pinch near your ribs, or an unexplainable fatigue, do not ignore it. The heart-eater might be testing your defenses. Sleep with the mirror, carry the salt, and remember the name the Aztecs whispered in fear, Teyollohcuani. He is not a myth. He is a warning, and he is waiting.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.